Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video. So as we all know, the new act came out. I know, everybody's sad, everyone deranked. The rank reset hit everybody pretty hard, but it's okay. That's what I'm here for. Because in today's video, I'm gonna teach you exactly what you need to do in order to rank up to get back to the rank that you think you deserve. But in order to do that, I'm gonna have to piss some people off, and I need you guys to stay right to the very end so that you guys can go through and understand exactly what you need to do in order to rank up in Valorant. I went from Silver 3 to Immortal 2 in one act. I can do it following these simple steps that I'm gonna give you guys in this video. You guys can too. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your boy D-Rose, and let's get straight into this video. First up, in order to explain this, we must first understand the fundamentals of actually ranking up. And this part is gonna be super important. So if you were to only take one thing away from this video, this should be it. Now, this might piss some people off, but I really don't care. The reality is, you are not in the rank you think you deserve for the sole reason because you might not be as good as you think you are. You can try sitting there, coping, and telling yourself it's your teammates or that you're hard stuck, when in all honesty, that's not the problem. The only way to actually rank up is throwing your ego in the trash, because the only way to really rank up is through self-improvement. Now, next up, I'm gonna break down 3 main aspects that you should be focusing on when it comes to learning how to rank up and improve yourself. These 3 main aspects of Valorant that you must proportionately need improving on in order to climb the ladder of the Valorant ranking system. Valorant is pretty smart when it comes to hidden messages. Ask yourself, why is the overall act rank in the shape of a triangle? Because if you break down each point of the triangle, it'll look something like this. You'll have the top side, which is your mechanics. You'll have the bottom left side, which is your game sense. And you have your bottom right side, which is going to be your mentality. Now, in order to break each of these down, I'm going to be including aim and movement. For your game sense, I'm going to be including decision making, positioning, ability usage, and rotations. And for the last one, mentality, this is going to include your ego, your mindset, your teammates, and bad games. So now, hypothetically speaking, if you had the mechanics of an Ascendant player, but the game sense of a Silver player, you'll find it hard to move up the ranks from Silver to Diamond pretty hard. But if you even out the aspects and have the mechanics of an Ascendant and the game sense of Ascendant, then you'll find yourself climbing the rank ladder faster than you anticipated. You must first realize that your overall rank is not determined by your greatest strength, but it's actually determined by your biggest weakness. This is why I say you must improve at the 3 aspects I just talked about above proportionately, because you cannot rank up if you're only trying to improve one aspect of your gameplay. What I mean by this is if you're simply just doing aim training, but your game sense is that of a bronze, you're not gonna rank up. You can't just expect to win every single game by dropping 40 kills. It doesn't work that way. You can have matches where you drop 35, 40 kills, I don't even care, 50 kills, and you're still gonna lose some games. It's just how it goes. Now, one might ask, what could you possibly do in order to improve your game sense and mentality while playing Valorant? I'm gonna break down how you can improve on your game sense. First, we have the aspect of rotations. Second, we have the aspect of ability usage. And third, we have the ability to read your enemies consistently. Although rotations, ability usage, and reading enemies are very important, the 3 main things we are going to be focusing on though are decision making. This is when you decide if you should peek or hold, rotate or wait, or if you should save your ult or use it right away. Without even noticing it, you make hundreds of decisions each and every round. So you're probably sitting there, D-Rose, how can I actually effectively improve on these? Well, as many people say this but never actually do it, is learning from your mistakes. We often do something in-game leading to a death or a round loss, get angry, and do nothing about it. Probably go on your phone, scroll on TikTok, and wait for the next round to start. When in reality, after a death, you should be thinking, how could I have executed the situation better? If you are having a hard time doing this while mid-game, then I recommend recording one of your games and thoroughly going through it in your free time to analyze yourself. And then while watching, ask yourself, what should I do next time in order to not make that mistake again? Once you start realizing your mistakes and countering them, your brain will automatically start to think about what's a good play and a bad play without you even noticing it. Trust me, if you have the time to sit there and take clips for another TikTok montage, you have the time to record one of your games and watch it over. And I know many people are very lazy and won't do this, but I guarantee you that if you started to do this, you will skyrocket through the ranks and will rapidly improve yourself in the game. Another good way to learn from your mistakes is finding a player that is already way better than you, like professional players, learning from them simply just by watching their streams, watching VCT tournaments, or anything like that. Take notes on what you see in their gameplay. What do they buy in pistol round? What kind of angles are they holding? Look at the way they use their ultimates, their abilities, everything. The more notes you take, the more you will learn and the better you will become. Moving on now to number 2, positionings. Although positioning kind of goes hand in hand with decision making, I've separated it because I want you to understand how important it is. That being said, there are 7 important rules for having good positioning. The first one, always having a plan. When you're going into a round, I want you to have the plan set in action before the round even starts. So if you're gonna peek B main, have a plan. Look at the enemy team, see what they're gonna do. Think of questions like, where will you fall back after you take a fight or you get blinded? What will you do if you get full flashed or pinged by an enemy Sova drone? Start strategizing if you were them and how they might push you. This is something to think about mainly before the round starts, as this is helping you read your enemies like I mentioned earlier. Number 2, be ready to retake. If the enemy team is hard pushing a site and 5-man running it down, your best bet is to get off of site, because although you might think you can hold it down, but you can't. And this is why I say drop your ego and play retake with your team. You will have more of a success rate retaking with your team than dying solo on site trying to be him, and then your team has to retake a man down. Next up, number 3, playing off your teammates. Set up crossfires, communicate with them, set off peak contacts, etc. If your teammates don't want to communicate, look at the angle they're holding and set up an automatic crossfire. Set up an automatic peek off contact. Even if they're not communicating with you, use them. Use your teammates to your advantage to get the round or to get the kill. Next up, angle perception. We have to understand, the closer you are to the wall, the earlier an enemy will see you and vice versa. So with that being said, if you're holding an angle, set yourself up a further back from the wall to even out the playing field between you and your enemy. Because if you're going to peek them close to the wall, you're already at a disadvantage to lose that gunfight. Number 5, peeking and unpeeking. The majority of the time when an enemy is going to peek an angle, they already have their crosshair at majority of the common angle. And not to mention, they have peeker's advantage. So in order to turn the table to make it a fair playing ground for you, you must utilize strafing in and out of cover. This will help you get better timing, as if the enemy peeks, and if you're not there, they're going to turn away or look at a different angle. So then when you strafe back and forth, when you peek back out, you might catch them off guard and get a free kill. Number 6, off angles. Knowing off and on angles is crucial to holding angles. Off angles are mainly to be used when you have map control and the enemy doesn't. So when you have full map control, you want to hold off angles, so you play in awkward spots where the enemy might not peek or expect you to be in. On angles are more for close range use only if many enemies are coming your way. So if you're holding down a choke point and the enemy's 5-man stack, you hold an on angle. And number 7, last but not least, how can I delay the defuse? That's the question you should be asking yourself. The answer to this is deciding how you're going to plant if you have numbers advantage. If you have numbers, your best bet is to go and play farther back and jump peek or anything to get them off the defuse to kill time. If you play an agent like Viper or Brim or any agent that has a molly, go on YouTube, find some lineups, secure some more rounds. Now we're going to move on to the last aspect of decision making, which is going to be team play. Comms are the utmost important thing to winning rounds and creating consistency. Each game, I know how you feel. It's like joining into a game with 4 random monkeys, and the only way to create consistency is through communication. There are 3 main things you want to communicate throughout the match. First being team strats. I see way too many times not talking and just running it down and not trying to play together. Number 2, enemy info. Simply just telling your teammates the whereabouts you see or hear enemies or their utilities is crucial, as it gives you and your teammates awareness of where they might get peeked from or what to expect on a site. Number 3, I know it's hard in the Valorant community, but positivity. Always stay positive. Keeping your team's mental up is insanely important. Keeping everyone level-headed allows more comms and better results for you at the end of the day. If you want to gain RR, you have to make sure that everyone is positive within your team. Is the third aspect, which is mentality. Drop your ego. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. You can't expect to play top form and win every single game. I'm sorry, but shit is bound to happen. Number 2, focus on your long-term improvement as a player rather than looking at your rank and how many RR you are away from the next rank. If you stay true to yourself, follow this video guide, the rank you wish to achieve will come over time. Number 3, play actively. Don't just put your brain on autopilot when you're in games. Constantly be focused up and thinking. Staying on autopilot is a straight line to failure in ranking up and improving yourself. Number 4, change your mentality. I don't care how bad the scoreline is, the game is still winnable at any given moment. Whether it's 9-3 or you're down 12-1, it doesn't matter. Anything can happen.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
And unless you hate winning and don't want to improve, I would strongly suggest sticking through each and every game, not trying to FF and learning new things, trying new stuff. Instantly trying to give up or trying to FF is not helping you or your long-term improvement. And lastly, number 5, it is not about how many games you play. Do not fall into the trap of believing that the more you play, the faster you will rank up, but rather focus on if you are actively playing or not. If you are actively playing, then continue to queue. But if you find yourself not in the mindset for it and you're dozing off, then it's time to call it quits and do something else. Next, we're going to move on to the mechanics aspect. First things first, find your DPI and your sensitivity. There are so many websites at your disposal to help you find the perfect sense for you. As a starter, stick within the range of 800 DPI at around 0.2 or 0.4. Find a sense between those that you're comfortable with and go from there. You're not in Fortnite. You don't need to be cranking 90s every 4 seconds. It's Valorant. If your positioning is good, you will barely have to move your mouse to get a kill. Stick with the sense. One thing I can say is always stick with your sense. You're not 10s. Don't keep changing it, as this will decrease your likelihood of hitting shots you're used to, and it's going to mess up your hand's muscle memory. When it comes to refining your aim and trying to improve, the first thing to look at is whether or not you have an aim routine. Whether it is playing a deathmatch or playing in the range or even aim labs. I don't care what it is, but find a routine so you can help your reaction time get up to speed and then queue into competitive. Play 15 minutes in the range in some deathmatches to get your reaction time and your aim up to par, and then queue ranked. You're warmed up and you're ready to go. If you don't know any aim routines, just look up the Perms aim routine. This helps with not only with aim, but also with mechanics. When you're trying to peak angles, use only the keys A and D, as it's going to help you with that first shot accuracy and give you a better advantage. If you simply just hold W and then try to stop, the likelihood of you hitting that first shot is decreased tremendously. You can also silent jump peak angles without being heard by crouching, then uncrouching while you're in the air. This allows you to peak an angle without being heard like a fat elephant jumping around. The main takeaway from this section is that keep practicing and keep playing, but make sure you are actively playing. Anyways, guys, that's gonna bring us up to the end of the video. I really hope you guys took some tips from this video, and if you did, and please make sure to leave a comment down below now of what your rank currently is, and then come back to another video after utilizing these tips and tell me your rank then. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on so you never miss another video. Without further ado, this has been your boy D-Rose, and I'll catch you in a brand new video. Deuces.